Hi guys, welcome to our YouTube channel. My name is Kandi Anita.
And my name is Julie Chiriba.
First of all, we want to apologize for not posting a video in the last 2 weeks. But today, we are here with an interesting topic that we did some time back. Maybe Julie, you can tell us what the topic is about?
Yeah, if you guys can remember, some time back we talked about attachment disorders. We talked about the reactive kind. We talked about those people who are clingy and who trust easily, and we also talked about those people who are withdrawn, those people who form walls. We discussed all that, but we didn't really get to talk about how now to form healthy attachments. And we'd really like to go through that today, and that's why we're here today.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about healthy attachments, and we're gonna talk about how do you do it, where do you start from, or maybe some of the pointers that you can take home to form healthier attachments. Yeah. So Julie, you start us off.
Let me start us off with a point that we said even during the last videos. We said that you can't really form a healthy attachment with anyone if you're not whole on your own. So I have to be whole as Julie, and if I am to form an attachment with Kandi, and if I am even to respect her boundaries and stuff and see all that as, and nisianze kuona Kandi boundaries zako as if you're being too much. So it comes from a point of being whole on my own, and that wholeness cannot come from me on my own. It comes from God, like knowing that God loves me, I am enough, I am a masterpiece, like the whole Ephesians chapter 2 thing. Knowing all that, even when the world tries to tell me I'm not enough, I'm not beautiful enough, I'm not smart enough, I know for a fact that I am enough, I am loved, and that will never change. So having that confidence and that wholeness in myself, being confident in who I am, will help me form even healthier attachments. I'm a complete person. I will not wait for you to come and complete me. I won't put too much pressure on our friendship because I am complete on my own. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I'm also looking at it from a point of being confident. Yes, there's a point where we talk about God being your point of reference. Like, what does God say about you? But there's also that point where I talk about getting to discover who you are. Do you know your strength? Do you know your weaknesses? Do you know your likes? Do you know your interests? These are things that when you get to know about yourself, it helps you know who and who to interact with, or who and who to build that healthy attachment with. So when you talk about being whole, it's very important for you as a person to know your likes, know your dislikes, know your strength, know your weakness, and trust in your abilities, so that now you become a whole person.
Yes, because now when you're whole, I won't be too much dependent on Kandi. You know, you have these friends that are like too dependent because they can't be on their own. I can't be on my own, so I want to be with you all the time, 24/7. I want you to do everything with you. You know, that's not wrong, but there's a point where it gets, and then it becomes unhealthy. Because now you can't be on your own at all completely. Like, you're not even comfortable on your own. That should be a red flag to you. If you look back on your life and feel like I can't, there hasn't been a point in my life where I have been alone and comfortable. You should really start thinking about it. Why is this an issue for me? Why do I constantly need to be with someone at the end of the day?
And I'm also thinking about it, and I'm looking at it from a point of, if you know yourself and you know yourself from a point of you being whole, it helps you not to live under anybody's shadow. I'm looking at it from our point of view, where I'm like, Julie, we're doing this together, but I needed you and you needed me to trust in my own abilities, and I trust in your own abilities for us to come together and create the right kind of attachment or kind of friendship. Because if you didn't know your abilities, if we didn't trust your capabilities, we will not be here. And most of the time, we'll find ourselves quarreling because we're all trying to be something for the show of others, and we're not focusing on us as individuals. So it's very important for you to know yourself as a whole and take time to build yourself to be a whole person.
You just said that, and I've thought about something. so that you see it will help you not live under someone's shadow.
Yeah.
And I'm also thinking there's some people, there's in some attachments where one person always feels the need to dominate, and for the other person to be like under, like, now the shadow. And if you're in such an attachment, that's like a clear indication that that isn't a healthy one. So I think now I've just talked about a kind of red flag that will help you know whether you're in the right, your attachment is healthy or if it's unhealthy. If you as a person constantly feel the need to be on top, like I have to shine more than this person, like this person really isn't more of a friend, they are more of a follower, then you should really question that. You should really bring it to the table. You've seen that even in movies. I don't know if you've seen like those mean girls, those movies zenye ziko na mean girls, si lazima kuwe na ule mmoja mwenye yeye ndiye anasema alafu au wengine wanafuata, so that
more like a clique. The leader,
leader. Wewe kama una feel kuna ingine normal, but kuna ingine mtu anataka yeye ndio kuwe at the top. I want to outshine you as my friend. That is a sign of a really unhealthy relationship and attachment. You should really I don't know if you have any other kind of red flag. Like
another red flag would be you not being able to communicate your boundaries, or people not respecting your boundaries. That should be a red flag for
an attachment, like if
a wrong attachment.
Yes. And also I think that communication comes from these friends do not even give you that safe space where you feel they need to, like, you can't even communicate to. They are not a safe space for you. If they are not a space for you, that is not also a healthy attachment. And I think also another thing to ask yourself to know if you're in a healthy attachment or not, it could be, are you the one who is like always compromising? Are you like, I want Candy, let's meet up at 2. No, we want to meet up at 5. Okay, you have, that's just as like a minor example, but I'm the one who will be like, okay, I'll come at 5, even if it means I'll have to move heaven and earth. And then next time again, I wanted to wear black tomorrow. No, I want us all to wear red. Now I'll start wearing and wear red because you say, like, are you all the only one making compromises in that friendship, in that relationship? Because if you are, then you guys, that's not a healthy attachment. A healthy attachment is whereby we are able to meet halfway. Like, let's see how we can work through this. Not me having to sacrifice all the time, because now that just means that the other person is taking advantage of you. I don't know if you have any other like red flag.
There's also you not. I think that one, the one you talked about you not being able to meet. You guys are not able to meet halfway. That would be more on communication. Because now, me, when I talk about boundaries, these are things that you can't forgo. I'm this kind of a person, this is who I am, so you either accept it or not. But again, I'm looking at it from a point of, most of us talk about boundaries, but do we really have boundaries? Ama is something we just say and you could say go like boundaries.
I'm not going to kwa kichwa. Haujazisema, hakuna mtu anajua afai kucross hapa na wewe.
And then you building boundaries has to come from a point where you know your strength and you know your weakness, and you know your belief system, like what do you believe in and what else contributes to you building a boundary. There's the belief, there's your strength, there's your weakness,
like your limits,
like
this is where you have to get with me. And just as we're talking about boundaries, like that's another way to form healthy attachments. For any attachment to be healthy, there has to be boundaries. I think even it's like something you were saying that your mom told you. I don't know what you told you.
Oh, the story about the bedroom.
Yes.
Yeah. Like when your friend comes in, if you're my close friend, I'll allow you maybe go into my room, show you things like that. But if we are not that close, you wouldn't even come for a sleepover. So that is more. perfect, that's a good example. Do you let all your friends go into your room? Do you let all your friends to go into your kitchen? No, because there's boundaries, because there's a point where you say, yes, you're my friend, but wewe si beshte yangu hivi. Unaona nikaa vile tunasile memes za hatujafika hapo.
And yeah, and I think of boundaries as a form of bridge. Like even with bridges, there's like a weight limit. Like ubiti hapa na mizigo za more than hizi tutaangusha hii bridge. That's the same way. I like bridge ina allow certain things to pass through, lakini zingine kuna limit hazitapita. And that's exactly what our boundaries should be like. And for our boundaries to work, we should communicate them. Like I should be able to tell you, Candy, that this is like a line for me. We are friends, we are really, really, really close, but you can't cross. For example, I have like an example. We have different kinds of people. Like we are friends, mimi na wewe we are friends, then I'm in a relationship. There are two different kinds of people. I would allow you to be friends with my boyfriend.
I'm smiling because you should hear me Latin. I'm like, son, calling. Should we really talk about this?
It's a perfect example.
Yeah, okay.
Juu kuna watu wako comfortable na mimi na wewe kwa friends. Juu I have a friend who has no problem with that. But there are other people who clearly, wewe rafiki yangu, wewe boyfriend, mimi ndio rafiki yenu, lakini nyinyi sio marafiki. And I think that's a reasonable boundary too, if you ask me. Juu, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, if I communicate that to Candy, she will be able to know. And imaanisha ati msiongee, msisalimiane, but you get what I mean, like msianze kuwa mabesti. But kuna wenye it's like sasa sisi tumekuwa friends sisi wote. And on both scenarios,
Sini squad.
Na kwa scenario zote, it's okay. But kwangu, hiyo inaweza kuwa boundary. Like mi sitaki wewe na nyinyi mkwe like close. Now, kama sijakwambia alafu mclick. So unaona hapo kuna makasiriko haziko nitaanza huku ndani
nasema ile feeling ya kuna this feeling unasikia uchungu like nezili yani kakiwaru but si kiwaru but ni like
ile la kuchoma rembo kwa mwezi toa mwezi yeah like sasa hapo when you do not communicate your boundaries hapo ndio kuna kuja the disappointment, the hurt, even the failed relationship and friendship at the same time. But if I communicate that to Candy, she will be able to respect it. If I communicate that to my boyfriend and be like, you can be friends, it's cool. You cannot be friends, I'm not comfortable with that. Then you guys can really just be like ile sawa when we're together, we hang out and stuff like that. And stuff hakutakuwa na makasiriko. So I really think with boundaries, they also have to be communicated.
Yeah.
Juu sitajua boundaries zako na za mtu mwingine, they are totally different. My boundaries and your boundaries are different. Like, and there are people who are like okay with their friends coming home even when they are not around, isn't it? And there are people who find it kind of weird, like usikuje kama siko. The reason you're here, so if those people are different, so their boundaries will be different. So it's good to communicate your boundaries to your friends. And when we talk about boundaries, we cannot talk about boundaries without talking about like walls. Now, boundaries are what healthy attachments are made of. But now walls are like very unhealthy. Ni kama sasa I'm not letting anyone in, I'm not letting anything out, I'm in my own world. Na kuna watu kwa na walls lakini wako very confident like mimi, boundaries ndizo nimewekea watu, sitaki watu kunishauri, so nimewekea hizo si boundaries, hizo ni walls. So when we talk about boundaries, we are not talking about now you shut yourself out from everyone else and live in your own small world because you have formed boundaries. No, those are walls and they are unhealthy.
Yeah, and also when you making the right attachments and we talk about walls, if you're the only one always talking about your issues and the other person is not, that's something to question. Like question your friendship or question whatever you guys are having, because friends should be in a position where they get to share whatever.
Vulnerability should be like both ways. Si mimi nafungua roho yangu kwa Candy na mwambia shida zangu lakini acha niambie hata moja. That should even be. Because you ask yourself like why are they not telling me this? there, because we all have things we need to share, but sasa kama sisemi, that's a red flag if you ask me.
So it's good to ask yourself now, for the person who has walls, are my attachments becoming an issue because I have walls? And if I have walls, what is making me have these walls? So that now you start having healthy attachments with people. Because it's not good having a friendship where you're the only one sharing. Because friendships, it's a form of intimacy. Na intimacy ni ya watu wawili. So it makes sense.
This is what to give at least in equal measure, na si ile equal measure yenye tunahesabiana wakati. Sasa true. Kandi last time when chipo za tembo, maybe stand up by the tembo. Mtoshane na yeye. No, like it should really come naturally, like we are both giving because we are both a safe space for each other. And also, if you find yourself when you're overshare kila saa, like also ask yourself probably, could this be a me issue? Like, do I trust too much and just share kabisa na kila mtu juu? At the end of the day, it's good to be discreet, like in your life. Like the same way we say that when we're talking about the lifestyle video, you can't be sharing with 30 people at a program. You have to have like a circle of people close to you. Healthy attachments whereby you are both giving, you are both receiving.
Yeah, and also maybe as we finish up on the topic, today morning I was talking with my mom about attachments, and then she told me that it's very important to have the idea of friendships breaking, or not even breaking, but coming to an end, like kuwa na hiyo idea in mind, because most of us, I think, when we grow up we keep on holding on to people kwa sababu tumesoma nao, ukiwa high school unataka kwenda nao, uko kampo tena unatafuta watu wa high school. It's good to have that ability of letting go of friendships, not kwa sababu ni wamefanya kitu mbaya, but ni kwa sababu tu life happens.
Like season imeisha. I think that makes sense. It reminds me of that story in the Bible about Saul, like the whole him becoming king. Sijui donkey si very
And then we guess kondo ama kondo. So what are you saying?
Okay, donkey silipotea akabeba servant wake waende na yeye. Like I remember when we were discussing it, I think with a group or something, we talked about that point where they met with Samuel. Alafu Samuel told him, now hapa penye umefika, you tell your servant to go back, like you are the only one moving forward with me, ndio tukuje hapa, we have that feast and we make you king. And I remember someone said that we have to understand that some people in our lives are there for a certain season, and for even a certain assignment, and once it's done, you and them, like you're done. And it's not wrong. It shouldn't. It's okay for if that season comes to an end, you should be open to letting them go. Because I think I've ever asked myself, like, why don't I have any childhood friend? Like I'm seeing people who have been together for like 20 years, and I'm like, why don't I have this? And then it really bothered me for a while. But then I remembered that you have people in your life now, and that's what really matters. And you should be open to even attachments coming to an end. You see, to somebody really.
I'm smiling because I remember I was talking to my friend. I wouldn't say their names here because anaweza jua tu ni yeye. So nilikuwa namwambia ati we harusi yako ikifika zinakuja, and then she told me mimi nataka kuja. Though I'm not focusing on seeing at this point nani na nani atakuja kwa harusi yangu, I want it to happen in a sense where the people I'll be with at that time ni watu wenye watakuja harusi yangu. So I felt that was really mature for her.
That is mature.
Because that's the truth. Like hakuna haja shinda me hold on to people na maybe tunaweza kosana ama something happens. So akasema by the time I'm getting to that event in life, I'll know who I'm daita. So akusema siendi. Guys, but
utakuwa hiyo time.
At point alikuwa sema like life happens, you never know. So if you
life
keep on
happens.
holding on to
And I
people,
think-
you'll be hurt.
I think now that you've said it, like people really sometimes the friendship like it's clear imeisha, lakini you're really struggling to hold on to it kwa sababu mtu nimemjua tangu niko mtoto, so hakuna venye naacha. Like it's good to know when to fight for something, and it's good to know when to let go. It really saves you a lot of energy, a lot of joy, and a lot of peace.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we are not saying that you don't hold on to those friendships that you had since mkwe wadogo. Though we are saying if it doesn't benefit you ama mko in the same space
Anymore.
it's okay to let go and be open to make other friendships.
And
Yeah.
I think another point I'd add to forming healthy attachments, we once said that attachment disorders can stem from trauma. So there's also no way to me dealing with my attachment disorders if I can't deal with the trauma itself. If I went through something traumatizing, maybe it's abuse or abusive parents, abusive teachers, abusive peers growing up, because we really have abusive friends as well. If that traumatized me and that has caused me to have unhealthy attachments, I have first to deal with the trauma. I have to go face to face with like all those things I went through with the abuse, deal with it, so that I can now be whole. You now even the wholeness comes from coming face to face with your trauma and with your pain and with your experiences and dealing with them head on, so that now I can form healthier attachments. That's also really important. And if you really do not know how to come face to face with the trauma and deal with it, because it's not a walk in the park, it's like reliving the entire thing all over again, but now this time you're reliving it, learning, letting go, and coming from a point of healing. So if you can also even probably consider therapy.
And also the reason as to why it's also important for you to go for therapy is because at times you may not realize like actually whatever happened affected you until you actually talk to someone and like, okay, na ukishida ukiongea na realize you keep on going back to this point. So was it traumatizing? Was it something that happened to you and you were like, it really disturbed you? So it's good to talk about it. You might not realize it.
Yeah, I think the most interesting thing about trauma is that undealt with trauma controls you and you do not know it's controlling you. So you think this is how I am, this is like the me, but really that isn't you. That is the undealt with trauma controlling you and making you do certain things. You really think that that's who you are, but it's not. So now I really think we all want to be in control. So you want to be in control at some point of your life. I do not want my undealt with trauma to control me, like behind the scenes. So it's really important to seek therapy if you think you are really okay. The answer is you're probably not really okay. So undealt with trauma can really affect even not attachments, every aspect of our lives. So we really need to talk about it, we need to deal with it, and even in our attachments we need to be safe spaces whereby I can come to Kani and even consider talking to her about some things I have gone through. If you do not have that in a friendship, if you do not have that in a relationship, then what is it for? At the end of the day, we are not just here to talk about memes and go home and laugh, and yet I think yes, that's part of the friendship, but we also have to be a safe space where we can talk about stuff, like real stuff. And I think that should be normalized in friendships these days, because people just meet up for the fun and everything, but we do not want to get deep into our own lives. And I think it's probably because we are all dealing with certain things in our lives we are not comfortable talking about, but at some point we have to be open to sharing, and our friends now, and when I'm ready to share, I need to have that space around me. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I'm thinking maybe one time we can have a video where we talk about trauma, types of trauma, so that when we talk about trauma as a serious issue, people can understand why we're talking about trauma and so much emphasis on trauma.
Yeah, and trauma is not, we're not really talking about it in only trauma. And it's real trauma, but we're also talking about emotional trauma. You're in a control attachments. So I think we'll really do that. Yeah.
And just to, now that we're wrapping up the video, we'll run through the points that we talked about. One, we talked about for healthy attachment, there's communication, there's you knowing your boundaries and you being whole as a person on your own. And we also talked about the importance of letting go of people, not because you hate them or you had a beef, but because life happens. Yes.
And we also talked about hiyo ya trauma, deal with trauma. Na bado tukasema red flags kadhaa. Kama ni wewe tu unatoa 10 bob kila saa mkipatana mtu mwingine hajawahi toa na si shida inamaliza. Like if you're the only one giving, like this attachment, you're the only one giving, ask yourself a question. If this attachment is not improving you in any aspect, si lazima ikuwe tima. Like lazima, like for example, from my interaction with Candy so far, I can say I have improved in a certain way emotionally, because I really find Candy like emotionally very mature, and she has really usijisikie sana and she has like impacted me in a certain way when it comes to being in touch with my emotions and opening up and being in a safe space. If now your attachment, you're not improving in any way, if it's taking from you more than it's giving you, if you are, there's no safe space for communication, if now you can't even be confident at all, if now you have to like be the shadow of that person always, you want to shine like those are not healthy attachments. Tusikubali kubebwa when you find.
Okay guys, that is all we had for today. Meet us on our next episode as we talk about self-confidence, high and low self-esteem. Yes,
it's been fun. Bye guys.